final guest of the day, the one that a lot of you have been waiting for. Can't wait to talk to this man. As you know, really needs no introduction. October 14th, prime card, DAZN, Misfits Boxing. It is the fight that, in many people's eyes, at this point has become the people's main event. It's the co-headliner. It's Dillon Danis versus Logan Paul. Logan Paul, kind enough to join us on the program once again. There he is. Hello, Logan. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing, Ariel? Good to see you, bro. Always.
Good to see you as well. Really appreciate this. I know you don't do a ton of these. You don't really need to, so I appreciate the time and the subtle plug as always. What flavor we got there? What is
Come on,
that?
I was thirsty, Ariel. That wasn't a plug. Drink Prime. I was thirsty. My guy, blue raspberry. 20 calories, 2 grams of sugar.
Yeah, shout out, shout out. Okay, so much to talk to you about. So much to talk to you about. Can we start here? So much going on in your life, business-wise. Prime, WWE. Who knows what the hell else? Why are you coming back to boxing? Why the need to do this? Why did you decide to do this? Before we get to the opponent, the day, all that, why did you decide I need to continue the boxing career?
I don't know what else to do, Ariel. I really don't know what else to do. Like I have this frame that is attuned for combat. I like to work hard. I like to beat people up. I like when they try to beat me up back. And it's a good vehicle for the businesses that you mentioned that I'm building. It's just a good platform, and I love it. I don't know.
You've had such success in WWE. It's grueling on your body. I was there in London. I thought you broke your neck there for a second. It was insane. Did you not feel like you were getting that, that buzz, scratching that itch from that? Because as you know, no one's really wrestling and boxing, or wrestling and MMA is a rarer thing. Boxing's super rare. Were you not getting that feeling that you were getting out of boxing from the WWE stuff right now?
Boxing is just so much more intensely violent, and both sports have their danger and are both extremely primal. I often feel like I'm born in the wrong generation. Like I like the idea of two men, two women, humans going at it with all they have but their body. Like I don't know. I just feel like I'm built for it, and boxing ignites a certain part of my brain that wrestling doesn't, and wrestling ignites a certain part of my brain that boxing doesn't. And I like going back and forth. Also, who's doing it, Ariel? That's like I gotta make a legacy somehow.
That is fair. When you decided to do this, how does it work with WWE? Do you have to ask them for permission? Is it already carved out? You don't even have to tell them. How does that work?
Yeah, we got to find a time in the schedule to carve out a time to box, because I am, I guess, technically like a full-time wrestler. Like I'm on the roster. I have a contract, and it's also a goal of mine to get WWE championships. Like I didn't just come to partake. I came to take over, and you don't do that if you're hopping in and out of the sport. So we got to find time to box and time to wrestle, and they've been very accommodating.
Was there any talk of them promoting your next boxing match?
Yeah, especially now with the merger, right? The WWE UFC TKO merger. I just think it would be massive. Like WWE is such a innovative, adaptable enterprise, and if they want to get on board to promote a boxing fight with me, depending on who the opponent is, right, it has to be the right opponent, could be huge.
Because people think, TKO, you've got MMA, you've got wrestling, boxing is next. And even Nate himself, Nate Diaz, had mentioned that they were trying to help put together that fight back in March. Is all of that accurate?
Yeah, they were.
And why, in your opinion, did it not come to fruition?
Oh, man. You know why I think it didn't come to fruition? I mean, I don't know. I think Nate wanted to fight Jake.
Okay.
There's no doubt that any event that I do with the WWE would be massive. They're one of the biggest sports organizations on the planet. Where's the hesitation? I don't understand it. I'm sure he had his reasons.
So when you come together with KSI, your business partner, and say, all right, let's do this, how does it go from like the prime card to you being on the prime card and you being the co-headliner to him being in the main event? Like, how did the whole process come about? Because I think
whoa, hey,
no,
buddy. Technically, it's a co-headline, double main event.
Double main event. Okay, I was trying to give it the co-headline. To me is number one, by the way, but double main event, fine. how did the whole process come about? Was it an easy deal to put together, or did you consider other options? Your own card, your own thing, MVP. What were the options?
Let me be clear. The only reason that I'm doing this card is because it's the prime card.
Okay.
Uh, the idea and prospect of building legacy brands and businesses is very appetizing to me. Like I said, I happen to be able to box. I happen to be able to weather that storm. I'm interested in it. I like it. I like the entertainment factor, but it is nothing more than a vehicle for me to build everlasting businesses. And KSI knows that, and I'm sure he has his own reasons for wanting to do this. But the idea of both of us being on the same card at the same time, coming from bitter rivals, beating the crap out of each other twice in a row, to fighting on a double main event night in Manchester, where we first fought, it was just so exciting for both of us.
When Mams Taylor first told me that you were going to be on this card, and then he told me the opponent, and this is not me trying to be a dick or anything, my initial reaction was why? Why Dillon? Because let's be honest, at that point, his Q rating was very low. And after pulling out of the KSI fight, it seemed like people had just kind of lost hope that he would ever fight again. And, you seem to have had the pick of the litter. You could have gone in multiple different directions. So could I ask you that same question? Why did you choose Dillon Danis as your return fight?
After I wrestled at SummerSlam, I jetted across the country to watch my brother fight Nate Diaz. And I saw you there, Ariel.
Yes.
And I told you who my opponent was. And you said this same thing. You said, why? Why Dillon Danis? You said, and I'll never forget it, you said, he doesn't deserve you. And I took a step back and I said, you know what? You're actually right. Why did I pick Dillon Danis? Because he doesn't deserve me. But he does deserve to get the absolute shit kicked out of him. And if I get to be that person, that's very exciting for me. Because let's be honest, nothing about Dillon's striking is mesmerizing. Nothing about Dillon's striking makes you think twice about his danger on his feet. But he's can sell a fight, bro. He's a good troll, and he's done a great job. I got all the back end. He has none of it. So shit, he lining my pockets. Shout out.
When you say he has none of the back end, do you mean like pay-per-view points or anything like that? He just gets like a flat rate, and you get flat rate plus pay-per-view points?
Yep, he gets a flat rate. I don't have a flat rate. Which is unfamiliar for most fighters, right? They want flat fees, but I'm a social media guy. I fully understand the marketing power that we have. So I was okay taking no flat fee, going 100% back end.
Wow.
And Dillon was the opposite, and he had to pay $100K to Scott Coker, Bellator, just to let him fight.
Wow. Were you surprised when he ultimately agreed to the fight? Were you surprised that he actually signed?
Yeah, a little bit, but it doesn't mean anything, to be honest. None of this stuff means anything. Even now, like, no one knows where his head is at. He is a delusional, irrational little crybaby who tries to come up with every single lie he can to rationalize his reality. And his reality is sinking in that October 14th is coming, right? When you sign a contract, for him, I'm sure he saw the opportunity to be linked to me, to be associated with me, have his name in the same sentence, suck the clout as much as he could, and he has. But the fact is, on October 14th, you're going to have to fight me. And I think that is setting in, and he's coming up with all these excuses. He's a crybaby. He's talking about pulling out. Like, I don't know, man. I don't know. If this guy shows up, it's going to be the worst day of his life and one of the best days of mine. But that's TBD.
And so I want to get to that in a moment. But as the fight becomes official and now the social media stuff starts and it becomes very personal, how are you reacting? Because there was a moment there where we didn't hear much from you, and it's like this snowball, right? And it's becoming extremely personal. I have always said loved ones, wives, girlfriends, husbands, whatever the case is, like there should be a line, and I feel like that is the line. Now, one jab here or there, all's fair in love and war, and let's be honest, you're not immune to that sort of thing. Like you've rolled in the mud, so to speak, but it just kept happening and happening and kept getting more and more personal. It seemed. What are you thinking as you're watching all of this unfold?
At first, I totally understood it. Like, I do the same thing. Like that's what you do to sell a fight. You prod, you poke, you get at the weak spots, and then the behavior became a bit stalker-esque. And then it's cyberbullying, then it's harassment, then it's committing a federal crime. And so it's clear to me that his intention from the get-go was to pick a fight with a woman, because that's what a person like Dillon Danis would do. He's a coward. He doesn't want to fight me. He chose to pick fight with the woman who he's never met and has posted about over 500 times. That is abnormal behavior, no matter how you cut it. Having an entire photo gallery of a woman you've never met before on your phone with over 500 photos is fucking weird. And in that process, he chose to fight a two-front war. And so now that the woman who happens to be my fiance decides to take a stand up for herself, hold this predator accountable for his vile actions, he's going to have to fight that battle too, as well as getting the shit kicked out of me in the ring on October 14th. He's in a tricky position, man.
How is your fiance, Nina, dealing with this as it's happening? Because she's the one getting all the arrows thrown at her, right?
The response that Nina is exhibiting and the strength of her character is the reason that I asked her to marry me. This woman is incredible. I love her so much. She is the person who I want to mother my children. And I admire her, dude. Like she honestly inspires me, and she's handling all this great. She handled it in the most mature way possible. She hasn't said a word about it, and she's going to hold him accountable where he needs to be held accountable, which is in the justice system. But it's completely unrelated to our fight. Like, again, you chose to pick a fight with a woman. The woman wants to stand up for herself. This ain't my lawsuit. I'm not suing this guy. She is, because you picked a fight with her and you broke a law. But also, don't forget, you got to fight me too. We're a unit, me and Nina. We love each other. We're moving forward through this together. And there's no end in sight for us, man. She's the love of my life.
Do you feel like there are people helping him with these posts?
I deposed him a little bit on our face-to-face. And I asked him, I said, like, how are you coming up with this? You know, you're being fed this content. And he insists that it's all him. So, you know, he essentially incriminated himself right then and there. But I do imagine he's being fed content, because I have also made a fair amount of enemies. You know, there's people who don't like me. And by the way, no one really like cares about this all that much. They just don't like me. They like to see me fall, or they like to see me falter or get my feelings hurt. But I've been here before, you know, like this is where I live. Discomfort is the name of my game. And so go for it, right? You're going to watch the fight, you're going to tune in, and you're going to watch me knock out the guy that you guys have been praising for 2 months.
Okay, so that's the real fascinating thing. As like a third party, you watch this and be like, man, like who is he fighting? Is he fighting a woman or is he fighting Logan? And this feels like it's going too far. But then you look at the engagement and you look at the comments, and all of a sudden, the guy who people were mocking in January for pulling out of the KSI fight feels like this baby face, to steal a pro wrestling term. It feels like people are rallying around him due to, as what you're saying, is perhaps a disdain of you. Does that blow your mind that people are, that he's now more popular than ever? He's never been more popular. Jiu-jitsu career, MMA career today, never been more popular, solely because of what he's been doing towards you and more specifically your fiance.
No, sir. I am a very large apple tree with a lot of apples. And there are a handful of people who realize that if you go up to that tree and take that apple, you can make a life for yourself. I have been blessing people with careers, content, false narratives for my entire career. I've made people entirely off of just existing. And he's going to be another person that's added to that list. But man, you build him up just to tear him down. And that's what I intend on doing.
So your brother Jake on your last podcast brought this up, and I thought it was a great point. And I'm wondering if you agree. Do you now regret picking him because you resurrected his public profile and turned him into somewhat of a hero to a lot of people? Had you not done that, this doesn't happen. Do you regret choosing him?
I don't. No, I mean, ask me on October 15th, but I really just feel like when I connect that right hand to his face in the cleanest way possible, and I watch him crumble, and I tower over him with my hand in the air, and it's the most glorious knockout. The crowd goes crazy that people have ever seen. that feels like it's going to be worth it to me. And then we're going to see the slow decline and downfall of Dillon Danis. I truly believe his downfall will be studied for decades. I think after this fight, the harsh reality of his actions are going to set in because, again, you picked a fight with two people here. Me, my fiance, we're both going to handle you. And I have a feeling he's going to gain weight. I have a feeling he's going to fall back into alcoholism. I have a feeling he's going to declare bankruptcy. Clip this. But the end of Dillon Danis is near. We got 16 days.
So you hope, right? And you insinuated earlier as well, like you don't even know if this guy is going to show up. There's a backup fighter. His name is Mike Perry. How, challenging is it mentally to prepare for a fight where in the back of your mind, there's a lot of people, including yourself, who, believe to a degree like it might not even happen?
It sucks because Mike Perry is no joke. And he's an orthodox fighter. When you've been preparing for a southpaw MMA fighter for 2 months, studying his tactics, getting the techniques down to beat a southpaw, and you're not sure if that guy's going to show up. Instead, the guy that's going to show up is an absolute brick of a human, a tank who walks forward and can take any shot possible in an orthodox position. It's gonna fuck up my game plan. I'll be honest with you. But I chose Mike Perry for a reason. I like the challenge. I wanted the toughest guy I could get. He was on the list. I know he's training hard. I told him because Dillon threw a temper tantrum and left when we had our press conference. He left the arena because he's a crybaby. I told him, I said, Mike, bro, keep working because I don't think this guy's going to show up. And regardless, I firmly believe that who's ever crossed the ring for me on that night is going to get knocked out. I'm just at a position in my life where that's the only option.
Do you spend time thinking about Mike? Like, do you game plan for Mike? Do you have to do that? And so you're doing both.
We do. We spend about 25% of our time preparing for Mike, just in case. And we might have to up that in these last couple of weeks. But I think these next 10 days or so, we'll know if Dillon's coming.
Okay. Is there a cutoff period? Like if it's the night before, are you not or is it you're going all the way through?
I don't know. I don't know if there's a cutoff period, right? This guy at any moment could decide that this is too much for him, that this fire is too hot and he wants to pull out. There is no one's going to make him show up to the venue that night. No one's going to drag him out of bed. He's got to do it himself. But I imagine, my guess is, if he flies to London, he's probably going to end up fighting, right? Like, why would you fly to London if you're not going to do the fight?
What does your gut say right now? Do you think you fight him on October 14th?
I do. I think he shows up. I think he knows how much he has to lose. So the pullout fee of $100,000 that he'd be punished with sucks.
Is that for any reason, like even injury, or does it have to be for a specific?
No. If it's an injury that's verified by a doctor of our choosing, then he doesn't have to pay it. But I don't know. Is this guy crazy enough to set his hand down on a table and whack a finger with a hammer? Maybe. Who knows the extent this dude will go to not fight me? Because I don't think at this point that's above him. He will do anything to avoid fighting me. But if he does end up pulling out and he can't prove an injury, he'll have to pay me $100,000. You know this. He'll never have a platform again. No fighting organization, no sponsor. No one will ever want to work with him because he's essentially just a liar. He has built all of this stuff up just to show how fickle and fake that he is. And then he still has to deal with the lawsuit as well, which is going to be expensive, and he's going to have no money to do it, which is why I say he's going to have to declare bankruptcy. The guy, he got to show up. He has to show up, in my opinion.
I've heard him say that the lawsuit may preclude him from showing up. The restraining order may preclude him from showing up. Is there anything in there that stops him from fighting anything?
No. That's not how lawsuits work. It's not a criminal lawsuit. It's a civil lawsuit. He's lying. He's making up anything he can to try to rationalize to himself and his fans that are just deluded enough to believe the things he says, because 75% of what he says is not true, but nothing about that keeps him from showing up. It is completely unrelated. And again, you picked a fight with a woman. She's standing up for herself. You got to sleep in that bed. Not my lawsuit, buddy. That's hers. But you got to deal with me October 14th.
Will Nina attend the fight?
She'll be there. Yep.
And how does that work with the restraining order? Does he have to be a certain distance from her, or?
It's not a physical restraining order.
Okay, so what is a restraining order? That he can't post?
He can't post explicit photos of her, which is insane that we're in a world where like that has to be like stated, right? Like this is just weird behavior. If anyone else were doing this, me and my team would be alarmed. We'd be like, who is this? What is this person's weird obsession with my fiance? Um, he's a twisted individual, and we're gonna handle it.
When you were face to face with him, for that face to face, how difficult was it for you to not get physical? Because that was like you were in the heat of the onslaught on social media. How hard was that for you?
I didn't have difficult. I didn't want to attack him. I didn't want to. I don't know. I don't know, dude. I'm not. I've never been like a physically confrontational guy. I don't. I don't know if it's something about Dillon where he doesn't appear as like a threat, or he doesn't give me the energy of wanting to like attack him. I don't know. I had no desire to do anything to him that day.
Where did you find the bouncer, or how did you find the bouncer?
Yeah. The bouncer that choked out Dillon Danis. Yeah, flew him to London and hired him as my personal security. I just found him on social media. He went viral. So I found him in an article and tracked him down. I was like, "Yo, do you want to be my personal security?" And he was down. That was good. That was a fun bit.
One of his big rallying cries, as you know, is he loves to bring up the crypto zoo situation, and you have said that you are rectifying this. You're working on it and rectifying it. As you probably could guess, like the main thing that I got today is ask him about the crypto zoo, and I was planning on it. And so, what could you tell us about how you're trying to rectify this?
Ariel, you know I love you, but because of the legal position of this, and if people cared, they could look into it. I unfortunately can't say anything on the situation, and I've tried. I've wanted to. We're very close, in my opinion. I think we're very close to a final resolution, and that's what I mean when I say I'm rectifying it. But unfortunately, I can't give you any details right now.
Okay, but it's something that's going on. You just can't talk about it. It's not like it's a dead issue in your world.
Not a dead issue, not by any means. No.
Okay. And so as far as the build up to this fight, do you have do you watch his like today he was training with Alex Pereira, who we just had on coincidentally, but it doesn't seem like he has like a team, a coach, a gym.
Yo, I was wondering this. Who is his coach? Even Conor McGregor. Yeah, I'm training Dillon for this fight. I'll be guarding him. What happened to that? Do these people just like say things just to say them? Like, where is his coach? Where is his team? Has he ever even trained in a boxing ring? Has he ever even laced up with actual 10-ounce boxing gloves? How does this guy expect to show up and fight me in a meaningful capacity when I'm out here giving this my all, Ariel? Like, I'm sparring 10 hard rounds tonight and doing a 2-hour workout after that. 2-a-days, often going to the track, working out, doing boxing drills regularly, eat, sleep, train, recover. I don't see him doing any of that. And so, I don't know. He's delusional, and he's going to suffer on October 14th for sure.
Does that kind of concern you? Like, if he doesn't have a coach, he doesn't have a team, maybe he's not taking this seriously, maybe he's using this for the attention, and then 11th hour, is that part of the concern?
There's no concern. What will be, will be. I don't give a fuck if he shows up or not. You know, you sleep in the bed you make. He has
you want him to show up, right? You need to resolve this, right? Like, you would be disappointed, no?
I would prefer that he shows up. If he doesn't, I will be more than happy to handle Mike Perry.
Okay. It won't feel like a letdown.
I don't know. I'll let Nina handle him in court.
Okay, fair enough.
We gonna slaughter him either way.
And just a couple more, and then I'll let you go. And again, thank you so much for this. Just curious, where do things stand with the drug testing? That's been a big back and forth as well.
The biggest lie I heard him say right off the rip, he was talking about, Logan denied USADA drug testing, blah, blah, and of the many things he was lying about, I'll go 8 rounds, blah, 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 which isn't true. He still won't sign the affidavit that says he's going to go 8 rounds. I said I would do drug testing from day one. And so when he was saying that, I was so confused. I called my manager. I'm like, where is this coming from? And then recently I saw KSI and Tommy did their VADA test. And so I called Mans. I was like, can we do this? Are we doing this? And yeah, he confirmed it. So I think we'll be doing drug testing within the next week, 2 weeks.
Okay.
But, it's gonna be nice to show a clean test because like I'm in this position where you can see people will say or do anything to try to discredit anything I do. And any opportunity I get a chance to shut them the fuck up is nice. And so when I can show people that my physique is because of my hard work and my genetics and that I have not been using steroids, it'll be nice feeling.
After Jake's fight against Nate, the podcast that you guys did, Impulsive, was theater. I don't know if it was the right kind of theater, but it was just something to watch. Where do you guys stand now? Are you good? Are we building? Is this the fight? Is this happening next year? What are we building towards here?
Nah, we're not building towards anything. That was a conversation between brothers that just shouldn't have been aired online. And unfortunately, there are no other pair of brothers that are doing it like us. And we have become kind of this like staple group to watch. And we had a not so friendly conversation that took place online. It is what it is. We learned from it. We're good now, though, man. I love Jake. I just did his show, BS with Jake Paul. I think it's coming out October 4th. We had some good conversations, but yeah, we're good. I love that kid.
Do you regret airing that?
I don't regret much. No, I don't regret airing that. Like, man, I can take the heat, Ariel, to so many people. Like, I see the headlines of these YouTube videos. Logan Paul's career is over. Logan Paul's finished. The end of Logan Paul. Like, shut the fuck up. Y'all forget who I am. Like, I've been here. I've lived here my whole life. And until my heart stops beating, you'll never stop me. And as arrogant as that sounds, I truly believe that. Like, no one's going to end my career because of a conversation I had with my brother. No one's going to end my career because of a couple pictures of my fiance online. Like, I'm going to continue winning. People are going to continue watching and running their mouths about XYZ. I don't give a fuck. I'm here to entertain. Love me, hate me. Just don't be indifferent. We're winning. 2
last quick ones. Will Jake be there October 14th?
Yeah, we're working on it. He's worried about the environment. He thinks it'll be kind of hostile.
Nah, yeah, I think they love him there. Come on, man.
Bruh, it's yeah. They love him.
You got the Furies there. You got KSI's fan base there. Yeah. Should be great. Yeah. How does it end? What's your official prediction?
KSI Tommy?
No, you Dillon. The co-main event.
I don't see him going past 2 rounds.
Wow.
And by the way, it's a double main event.
Double main event. Golly. You like double main event better than co-main? You like that word better? Double main event. Okay.
I don't.
Sorry, I apologize. I don't care. 2 rounds? That's the official pick?
Yeah. I don't think it'll go past 2 rounds. But I'll be honest, Ariel. If I get in there and I'm piecing him up, and I see quickly his skill level, I'm gonna make him suffer for as long as I can. If I'm not worried about a rogue punch coming out of nowhere and hitting me, I'm gonna piece him up for as long as I can, because this dude ain't gonna be conditioned for 6 rounds. He's never been in a boxing fight before. He's never been in front of this many people before. It is a furnace. The shit is hot. He was a puddle when we were just looking at each other face to face across from a table. Imagine how much he's gonna melt when he has to fight me. So I might make him suffer. I might drag him to the deep waters of round 5 and 6 and take him out then.
Well, I can't wait for it. It's going to be quite the scene. Good luck in these last few days. Safe travels out there. Good luck, obviously, in the fight. And who knows, perhaps I'll see you on October 14th in Manchester.
Let's get it, bro. Got some things on my sleeve. I'll see you, Ariel. I appreciate you, bro.
Thank you, Logan. All the best to you. Really appreciate this.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
There he is. Logan Paul. What a story. What a fight. What a scene. That is going to be something. What a build-up. What a time to be alive. What a time to be alive. Oh, thanks. Appreciate that. I think he shows up. I said this. You can go to the moment that it was announced. I think Dillon shows up. Obviously, the build and the training footage. You know, who knows what you believe and what is true and what is not true and all that stuff. Who knows? But I think he shows up. I am curious about who's cornering him. That's why I asked Plinio. I was being like, you know, sincere when I asked that question. I am curious to know who will be cornering him, who will be by his side. To Dillon's point, Connor said that he was training him, and who knows? Maybe all these pictures are what are they called? Latergrams. You know, there's smoke and mirrors. So as I said, I have extended the invitation. Let's see if there's a message here. I've extended the invitation. No, there's nothing. For Dillon to come on, I would be happy to have him on. And perhaps we can, you know, squash the beef. I feel like that was a very fair interview. No pot shots, no jokes. We're trying to turn the page here. We're big boys, and so I am curious to see if he's interested. If he's not, no big deal. But I did want to offer the opportunity to both guys to come on and talk about the fight because obviously there's great interest in this, and it's an MMA story. Dillon is, you know, last we saw him, an MMA fighter. And obviously his jiu-jitsu career connects him to this world, perhaps even much more than a boxer. So let's see what happens. I am fascinated to see what the pay-per-view buys are. And the card, I was talking to the great Donna Corby today, who is the voice of this influencer boxing world, the best guy, you know, out there covering it on a mainstream level for a paper. I think it's the Mirror that he works for. Apologies if I get that wrong. But he does a great job covering it, along with the likes of Fred Beck and Wade Plem, of course, and several others. And he compared this card to WrestleMania. Like, this is the WrestleMania of influencer boxing. And if you look at the card, the Saul Poppies of the world and the Whindersson Nunez's of the world and so many others, it feels like a WrestleMania card. So it will be a scene in Manchester on October 14th.